life.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Bit Show.
Thanks for joining, everybody. I'm Ryan Neiman, Fantasy Sports U here tonight on a cold frigid day in Chicago, Illinois. We have a guest tonight with sports writer for Femmes Magazine, host of his own sports talk show, Shawn Stewart. You can hear him Tuesday and Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Talk Shoe. We're going to be talking to him about different topics of the world of sports today. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about some brief topics that have been happening in sports of today. Quick news, the NHL suspended Eric Johnson for 2 games on his brutal hit on a defensive player. Roy Oswalt, pitcher from the Houston Astros, retired after 13 seasons. One of my favorite pitchers in the game who did not have a chance to win the ring. His only chance came in 2005 against the White Sox in the World Series, but they lost 4 games to 1. And in Olympics, Shaun White finished in 4th place in hash pipes, a stunner, after he was proclaiming the entire week that he was going to finish in first. So as I mentioned, we have a guest here tonight, Shawn Stewart. He writes for Femmes Magazine, and he hosts his own sports talk show Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Thanks for joining us tonight, Shawn. How's it going?
Pretty good.
How's the weather in Detroit for you?
When I got in there like a couple hours ago, it was like cold. Not like freaking cold, but like it's cold.
Not going to go sledding outside? Has it been snowing by you guys?
No.
I can't remember the last time I went sledding. I think I was probably when I was 10 years old, and I realized I'm freezing my butt off. Why am I outside sledding?
Like, like the only time I sweat is like if I go to bed.
Same here.
Seriously.
So the topics we're going to talk about with Shawn Stewart is the big news in the NFL of Michael Sam coming out and telling everyone that he is gay. We're going to be talking about LeBron James and dunk contest. And we'll be going over the NBA All-Star Game is this Saturday. And if there is any interest in it at all, did it lose flavor? Does it have any interest in the general public anymore? Or is it not the same thing anymore? So we're going to start with the Michael Sam story, the Missouri linebacker who came out on Sunday, which was actually the first Sunday since August that we didn't have any NFL action. So kind of a coincidence that he came out on Sunday to reveal that he is gay, and he could possibly become the first, if drafted, the first homosexual player in the NFL. So what do you think this has the impact on for the NFL, if any, for Michael Sam? Is it going to open more doors for the NFL? Are more players going to come out, you think? Or how do you think this will impact the NFL?
This is a very, 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 very good question, because when I look at this, when I heard about this Sunday, I think this is going to it'll have an impact with the NFL, because the NFL is being prepared for this. So for him, for his courageous sport, since he came out the closet, I don't believe this is a big issue, because remember, like 30, 40 years ago, you couldn't even say you were gay until you were retired. But now, as time flies by, like this generation, now it's more acceptable than ever.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of people, and then you have a lot of people that's like against gay marriage, or they hate gay people. They really hate gay people.
I find it interesting for the locker room. It's going to change. I think the environment in the locker room is going to be completely different because slurs cannot be tossed around. It was interesting this year. Last year, Super Bowl, 49ers player Chris Culver uttered anti-gay remarks towards fans. During last year's scouting combine, a team employee asked a player if he liked girls. Recently, punter of the Minnesota Vikings, he accused special teams coach Mike Pfeiffer of using anti-gay slurs. And last week, Saints linebacker Jonathan Vilma told NFL Network that he did not want a gay teammate. So, do you think NFL is at odds with itself with Sam? Do you think that there will be issues in the locker room, or how do you think a lot of players will react to this?
I believe this is going to be a big issue in the locker room because I'm gonna say like 70% of the NFL players don't want to play with a gay person, or some of the players they can tell like when a person is gay, but they can like really tell. But it's just like we just not gonna play with a gay person. So like for a gay person, they just might as well keep it to themselves until like retire.
Yeah, it's because you got a close group in locker rooms, and a lot of stuff happens in there. There's a lot of pranks going on, and the words.
That's my biggest fear.
Yeah, the words such as faggot, gay, homosexual are often thrown around in that atmosphere, and they take it as a joke. So I wonder if the NFL is going to crack down on the usage of language in the NFL. How do you think? Do you think?
Just like they're doing the NBA.
Yeah. With that whole Kobe Bryant commercials, where.
Oh yeah, I laughed my butt off when I saw that.
I thought it was kind of ridiculous with those commercials. I understand the reasoning behind it. They want to set an example for children, but fans think that sports stars are like them, and we are nothing like them. It's a different world out there. It's the same thing as with the Jonathan Martin and Richie Incognito story. Yeah, the same story with that is people don't understand the relationship that they have and how Incognito was using racial slurs, but people don't understand the type of relationship they had. So it'll be interesting, the type of relationship that Michael Sam does have. Do you think on draft day, do you think he'll go in the first round? Where do you think Michael Sam will go in the draft?
I believe he'll be in the second round of draft or third round. Just because somebody plays in the SEC doesn't mean they're like really first round picks. I know that people have that theory because the SEC is so dominant. So we need to lay off that. So I can see it in the second round or third round.
That's where I see him too, in the second or third round. It's just, do you think the timing? I know I told about this is the first Sunday since August without any NFL action. Do you think this is the timing of it? Was this a coincidence for NFL? Do you think they were trying to gain some notoriety on a Sunday without football?
I really do not. If I were to ask you that question, I would give you the answer, but I would not know about that question because NFL, because it's going to be the scout combine and the NFL draft. That's what I'm looking for too. So I don't look like this. Like, okay, since the Super Bowl's over, we might as well release this out. So I don't look like that.
It's kind of a funny back-to-back NFL drafts. Last year had the Manti Te'o story, and now this year the Michael Sam story. Which one do you think is the bigger story, the Michael Sam or the Manti Te'o? Which one do you think impacts their draft value more?
The Manti from Missouri, it's not Manti Te'o. I think this one's bigger. Like Sam, the guy who came out saying he's gay. I think this is a bigger impact because he's like the first one to say, "Hey, I'm gay." He's openly gay, but like this is like a huge blow because usually, like I say, when people are homosexuals, they usually say after they retire from professional sports.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know they play, if they say they're gay, they won't even play with the person.
Yeah, there's a lot of they wouldn't admit to it, but there's a lot of homophobes in the realms of sports. So it's interesting what will happen on draft day with Michael Sam and his career going forward. This weekend is the NBA All-Star Game, and LeBron James has been making a lot of noise yesterday when he showcased his 3 dunks to ESPN. This year, in the dunk contest, there's Paul George. The notable names are Paul George, John Wall, Terrence Ross, and Harrison Barnes. The biggest question is, why hasn't LeBron James have not done a dunk contest yet? Do you think he's afraid of losing, or why hasn't he stepped up to the game yet?
I don't think it is like he's afraid of losing. It's just that I think the biggest reason for him not to be in the slam dunk contest because he's focusing on the NBA championship. That's what I think his main focus is. He can care less about the slam dunk contest, the All-Star game. You know, he plays that for like the 3-point contest. So I believe that because his main focus is on the NBA championship. That's why I think he don't want to be in the slam dunk contest.
Do you want to see LeBron in the NBA? I mean, in the NBA. Do you want to see LeBron in the dunk contest eventually?
Oh, yes. Oh, definitely.
Yeah. He's one of the most dynamic dunkers. It's just a shame that fans... I really don't think he's ever going to do it. He's already 29. If he was going to do it, he was going to do it when he first broke into the NBA. When he was... Yeah. I think it's really too late for him. There's really no reason, like you said, there's really no reason for him to even try doing this because his bigger goals are, like you said, the rings and making the playoffs every year and just winning. So it's just interesting about that. And as I said, the NBA All-Star Game is this weekend. Will you be watching any of it by chance?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Which event will you likely be most interested in watching? The game itself or the NBA skills contest, the rookie game, the celebrity game?
I am not watching the celebrity game. There's no competition in there. They're just shooting just for Lord knows what. I am looking for the rookie. I'm looking for the rookie sophomore, 3-pointer, the slam dunk, and the All-Star game. I don't know how that's going to happen on Sunday. I don't know if it's going to be more or not, but I'm taking the West.
It's just interesting how the All-Star game used to be huge back in the 90s with Michael Jordan competing, Clyde Drexler, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant in his youth. But it's lost its flavor as of late. Why do you think the general public is not interested in the All-Star game?
I think a lot of people don't like this because it's like we're seeing the same dogs all over and over again. I didn't even watch the slam dunk contest like 2011 because why? Like there was some like certain years they had like they probably slam dunking or whoever did the cupcake. Mm-hmm. It's just that we just don't want to see the same dunk over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why the public don't see it as big as it is no more when it comes to slam dunk or all-star.
Yeah, I think for the dunk contest, the biggest thing is the lack of stars. I think this is the first year in a long time where we actually have 2 well-known players in John Wall and Paul George competing. And Paul George was an early favorite in the MVP race at the beginning of the year. But you don't see Kevin Durant doing the slam dunk contest or Kevin Love. Dwight Howard doesn't do it anymore. Just the names are just not there anymore. And maybe that's why the public doesn't want to watch it because the big names aren't there. It's like the Pro Bowl basically for the NFL. Nobody watches that. I can't remember the last time
I can't even watch that.
Yeah, it's just awful. Do you think there are any snubs this year for the All-Star game?
Say that again?
Do you think that there were any snubs this year in the All-Star game? Any players that deserved to be on there that weren't?
I can't even imagine because this season is really tricky. I'm going to say this is a tricky season. I would say John Wall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was surprised that he didn't make it. Goran Dragic of the Phoenix Suns was the first name that came to my mind. But Anthony Davis made the last spot over him. I never really liked fan voting for any sports. How do you feel about fan voting?
And that's the part too. Like I don't do the fan voting because do they have this part like they want the fans want the players to start?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I don't like about that. That should be up to the coaches this year to do that, not the players.
Yeah, like Kobe Bryant, he was voted into the All-Star game this season, but he didn't see really any action, and he was voted in. I think it just takes away from other players and attention too for that.
Right. Oh yes, most definitely. I don't know who voted for Kobe Bryant to be in the All-Star game, but he shouldn't be playing. Somebody else should take over for him.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just makes.
Was close to him. Close to the vote.
Yeah. And then our last topic we're going to go over is, again, Mr. LeBron James. Today, he says, when it's all said and done, he'll be the best to play the game. To quote him, he specifically said, where is this? He said, basically, I have redefined the game and how we perceive NBA. There's 3 other players, it's easy, who would be the top to ever play the game. We're talking about Michael Jordan, you got Larry Bird, and you've got Magic Johnson. And I would say the 4th, wow, that's a tough one. And he just ends with the reporter says he just ends with pointing at himself, and he says, that's number 4. LeBron James, he's a 4-time MVP, he's a 2 NBA champion. Do you think, when it's all said and done, that LeBron James will be the best player, or one of the best to play the game?
Absolutely. If you look at his stats when he was playing in Cleveland, and when he was in Miami, he actually performed a lot better when it comes to stats than Miami Heat, and he already won 2 championships with them and going on for the 3-peat. So I would say he is the greatest NBA player. But I will put him number 2. Number 1 would be always Michael Jordan because of the record in the NBA Finals, but I will put LeBron as number 2.
Who would be your number 3 to end that list?
Oh my gosh. See, this is a really tough schedule because we base players off of rings, and we don't like having like our top 5 players without no ring.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have to say Magic Johnson.
Yeah, he's got the rings, he's got the numbers to back him up too. Mm-hmm. It's like
and he was a team player. That's why.
Yeah, it's kind of like with the whole thing you said about the rings. Dan Marino, one of the best quarterbacks to play in the NFL, but he doesn't have a single ring. So it's interesting how sport writers and the media define a player by not really by the stats, but by how many rings they have. Like Peyton Manning, great quarterback, but blew it in the Super Bowl this season, and everyone's on his butt about that. So it's interesting how people measure an athlete, and it's just interesting with LeBron James saying that he's the best. He's always been saying that since he came out of high school. He's grown on me, actually. Are you a fan of LeBron by chance?
I wasn't a fan of LeBron when he first came in the NBA, but now I am.
Mm-hmm.
He just always puts on the show for you. You just don't know what to expect.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's just amazing that a guy his size, 6'8", 250, and he can move around like that. If I was that height, I think I'd be sitting at home all day and just eating food and watching TV.
Right.
All right, I am joined today with Shawn Stewart. Do you want to tell everyone where they can follow you at and where they can catch you and listen for you?
Oh, yes. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter. It is FEMS, is FEMS. Last name Stewart, that is STEWART. And you can find me on TalkShoe. And I post a link. I'll post a link on my Facebook and Twitter. You can follow me. And that is all.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Shawn, for joining us today. I appreciate it and your insight about the sports world and LeBron James.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks. Have a good night.
You too.
That was Shawn Stewart from Femmes Magazine. He has his own talk show, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on TalkShoe. Thanks again for listening. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please do. You can follow us at Fantasy U Sports. Catch all of our articles online at www.fsportsu.com. This has been another edition of Fantasy Sports U. Thanks and have a great night.